Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. And this broadcast, I have a dilemma. I want to talk to you about this free trade stuff. I am totally confused, okay? And maybe you can help me figure this out. You know, we're in this together. And this is a thinking man's game we play. And what we have to think about is exactly what is this whole trade shit all about. We have a G7 summit. Europe has announced that's in Canada. And we're at war with our G7 members. Wonder why. And Europe is aligning itself against America. They are saying that they do not want to see the Iranian deal destroyed. And Donald Trump is pissing on our allies. He's got to think about that. And what's even more amazing is he's off to take sanctions away from the mass murderer of our time, Kim Jong Nunchucks. He's going to go ahead and let him jerk him around on how he's going to give up his nukes. Well, I just had one under my bed. I mean, that was like, he was my friend Hermie. You can't expect him to give up Hermie. He was with me ever since he was a baby nuke, and now he's grown up to be a thermal nuke. So this is some crazy shit. Really, help me. I really seriously, I was wondering about this. I had the gremlins run around the office today, so I lost right before the broadcast marketing news and commentary. I couldn't come up. I lost my stream output, and oh man, jumper cables here and there, backup, all this stuff. And it's internal. It's not on my uplink, but on my cable jungle I have going here. You know, what's happened is this kind of grew. And then there was one screen and none, and then ton and 10, and then none and one, and all of a sudden there are screens everywhere. The kids hate the computer. Every time we come in, you tell me don't touch anything. You know, everything's hanging here, wires. So anyway, so we've been trying to put cables in trays. That's disgusting, and make everything nice. Somebody even suggested I write a sketch, so someone else will know what's going on besides me. But I'm not going to do a sketch. I refuse. But anyway. So I had the girls, but as I was running around like a maniac, because I've never missed a show, although I did the record for being late by over an hour in today's show, I just refused not to broadcast, okay? Refused not to be up there. It's an ego thing, I guess, but it's just, something that's important to me. So anyway, I was thinking about this. It's really amazing. We are putting sanctions against our biggest allies. And we are absolutely going against them in agreements we've agreed to that are screwed up, I admit. And this NAFTA agreement, now Donald Trump does not want to have a bilateral negotiation or trilateral in this case. That would be the United States, Mexico, and Canada. It is the NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. So we're not going to have the North Americans, all of them in the Free Trade Agreement to negotiate it. Why? Well, he's trying to practice this, deny and split and divide and conquer. Deny is a real important part. Deny one trade side the information the other trade side's using. I have a real problem with this. And we finally are getting reports now that, hey, bringing back factory jobs will not improve GDP in America. And hey, here's a news flash. Even Crud Low has admitted that, trade wars will slow down the economy and they will bring layoffs and they will affect all our good numbers. So I said, well, that's really brilliant. How did you come to that conclusion? Did you borrow my algo guy for that, or did you just kind of scratch your ass and figure it out for yourself? So stopping trade among nations, stopping goods from flowing across the border is bad for all nations. Wow, how brilliant is that? Did you try to explain that to Don? Oh, you didn't want to hear it, huh? So we're in a situation where we're just doing crazy shit here. We are moving the twilight zone of trade. I repeat, this is not the art of the deal. This is not a negotiation ploy. This crazy guy is absolutely starting trade war with our allies. And he's going to the most vile dictators on the planet and opening up trade with them. Talking about how he's going to improve the economy. Now, let me tell you, there was another one here that really hurt me today. ZTE. Now, as you know, ZTE makes about 25% of the handsets in the world. We've had to use a lot of handsets lately as data loggers for the Wellness Project. So we have like everything they've made, and basically the Chinese phones are far ahead of the U.S., but they got more holes in the Swiss cheese, okay? Look, you got to understand something. China's at war with us. The Chinese military wants America down. They want world domination. They want to become a superpower. And they really realize that space-based weapons technology, space-based weapons technology is the way to do it. So are they putting worms in products they manufacture? Oh, hell yeah, of course they are. Does your cell phone listen on you? Of course it does. Should you blank out the camera? Well, yeah. And should you, take that microphone and kind of cut it out of there and just use an output mic in a different way through the Bluetooth? Well, yeah, I would suggest that, but, people don't understand that. I can tell you that I know of a company that specializes in selling very cheap, by the way, solutions that allow people to target phones. And they worm into the phone in a lot of very clever ways, and ways that you would fall for. And they turn the phone into a microphone, and they turn your camera into a spy network in your house, and they go ahead and collect all kinds of data, including all of your Google searches, all of your messages, all your phone calls live by choice, and it's kind of an ugly world out there. And the Chinese understand this technology. And ZTE is full of worms, and there was a chance here because the CIA wanted them out. The Pentagon wouldn't allow the phones in the building, and there was a chance to take them out of business. Let's not argue the merits of that, but to say that that was the road we were headed down. In fact, they were done. They put a fork in them. They were out of business. Donald Trump saved them because he said that they were going to lose a lot of Chinese jobs. And he went, no, Don, America, you're the president of America. See, you're putting sanctions up in America that's losing American jobs, and you're taking sanctions down for Chinese companies to get Chinese jobs. Now, I understand the guy at a coal mine doesn't understand that, but, he knows where he gets free coffee in his thermos every morning, but he don't understand that. So, Don, buddy, stop this shit. So anyway, by the way, notice that Ivanka got 25 trademark registrations, which, well, you understand that's not simply the registration, that allows the products to be in the Chinese market, called open access. You scratch my back, crony, and you're my crony buddy, and I scratch your back, and everybody goes home happy, and Donald Trump gets richer because he wasn't doing so well until the Russians came along. So he understands having people bail his bacon out of the fire. So this whole story is about this incredible trade wars that Donald Trump is starting, and the realization by more and more people that this is going to slow down the economy, that these trade sanctions are coming. They are going to be ugly. They are going to stop the economy and suck it shut. They are going to lose American jobs. And Donald Trump doesn't care because this is about saying, look, I'm bringing back the great factory. I find it amazing that the moron in chief, as his own Secretary of State called him, you got to love. You notice I haven't heard or seen much of Tillerson anymore. It's like, oh, Tillerson, better be careful. Donald's really pissed at you. Anyway, the moron in chief actually wants to play to the crowd, and that is factory jobs, which is bogus. That is, oh my God, steel, aluminum. I've even heard some noise about copper now. Yeah. We're talking about that one. And Kim Yum Nunchucks will be allowed to have his rockets and his nukes, although if he plays pretend and says he doesn't, that's acceptable, old Don. And we're moving down this road where it's the sellout in chief. And he's putting us into a disgusting, ugly world where we are going to shoot ourselves in our great big foot in these trade wars. We are going to bring down the economy further. As you know, we're headed for a recession. And this whole thing ends up in the twilight zone of Donald Trump's fantasies in his brain. Now, does he really believe that he can make coal great again? I would think not, but people tell me he believes that shit. Does he believe that steel is the salvation of the U.S. economy? Yeah. Does he believe that giving IT to ZTE, that's going into the 5th generation of data provided by cell phone networks, towers? I mean, this is the game changer. This is how we're going to deliver Internet. This is a whole new world out there, and who knows what it opens. I can tell you that I'm spending a lot of time looking at embedded devices. Embedded device, that little computer that's, you don't see or hear from it. It's like in Siri. That's the one that takes that data, takes that information, takes that microphone, that camera, opens your door, it sets your alarm, and then basically takes it through various networks, including Wi-Fi if it's available, or G5 networks with into the cell phone networks. Okay, so there is a huge rush there. Texas Instruments, by the way, is doing marvelous things. I was just today browsing some of their offering of chips. Holy shit. They're putting Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and they are putting in what's going to be the 4th generation in micro SIM cards, or even software SIMs. Oh my God, you got to see this thing. Unbelievable. And really small packages, taking digital and analog data into it, which means it collects everything, and presents it so that it goes into a Wi-Fi network, it goes into a Bluetooth network, it goes into the next generation of Generation 5, oh my God, on the cell phone towers. So the infrastructure is being put in there. And by the way, ZTE is one of the main competitors in that. So let me see if we understand this. Donald Trump's going to bring the steel into America and protect that steel industry. Donald Trump's going to bring in coal, and by God, you're going to use coal and nuclear and glow-in-the-dark radiation because he's decided that he's going to make it great again. And he's going to do the steel, of course, and aluminum and basically manufacturing jobs. Oh, Don, you're so great. But, he is not going to allow America a competitive edge. He's going to allow China to compete with us mostly unfairly in the next generation of wireless where we hook up the world. Now, why is that? Well, I understand. I finally figured out. He don't know what that shit is anyway. He understands steel. He said, look, here's steel. Here's a hard hat, Donald. Oh, yeah. Okay, now this is Generation 5. And what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and blast massive amounts of data from smart devices. Well, yeah, okay. Does it fit my golf bag? So I really realize that he doesn't understand this. This is not in his wheelhouse. This is not part of his engine room. This is not like the lights don't light up there on this thing. So I found it incredible, and I wanted to put the show on this. I said, it's really incredible. He's putting sanctions against our allies. He's lifting sanctions against our enemies. He is investing in technologies that no matter how great and how nice that guy is over there in Ohio, he's a cooked goose. It's done. And he is letting our enemies walk away with the next generation. Let me tell you, this next generation of cell phones, this 5G, is a game changer. The devices will be cheap and powerful, and there'll be a lot of them in the network, a lot. The capacity is unbelievable. And everything will be streamed, everything controlled, and it's a scary little world. Like I said, I've seen chips that are just tiny. I mean, we used to talk about a chip the size of your thumb. We're talking about the size of your pinky fingernail cut in half. And the surface mount technology from Texas Instruments has on it, oh my God, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, near field readers, and they're going to have the next 5G integration into it, and blow the data up there, and it has endless data inputs, both analog and digital, for all kinds of information. I'll explain. It can take the digital files and get them up there. It can take inputs like temperature, camera, sensors of all types, okay? I mean, this is a game changer like you've never seen before. ZTE is very much a player in the game, okay? And I maintain a lot of the technology, of course, was ripped off. They do buy a lot of chips from a lot of U.S. manufacturers. But you heard of backdoors or us? I'm telling you, this stuff has more holes in the Swiss cheese. And by the way, you ought to see the technology they are putting out. See, a lot of those latest generation phones are not coming into America, okay? And so you don't have a chance to see them. They are really elephant glass screens that go all the way to the edge. In fact, I have the latest iPhone 10, and it was no big improvement. and I don't have the sensors I need. It lacks infrared, it lacks near field. It's amazing what it doesn't have on it. And then you pick up these other ones, you go, whoa, oh mama. So I don't give a shit about a bar of steel. I really don't. Or aluminum, rolled aluminum for the can companies. I don't give a shit about coal. Okay. I think I just ought to shut down the coal mines and integrate natural gas in our system. So I find myself at this time where I'm totally opposed to everything this clown is doing. I mean, it is like, it's crazy shit. He's skirting off to Singapore to do this is a kabuki dance with Kim Jong nunchucks. He's going to sell us out on that deal. He ranted and raved about how we had no verification and we gave everything away to Iran, and there was a lot of that is very true, by the way. But instead of renegotiating the deal, he just wants to shit on it. By the way, they've announced that they are going to start their centrifugal spinners to make enriched uranium. Oh, my God. And, by the way, the latest generation of that. And what are we doing? We're going to go ahead and make coal great again. We're going to Kim Jong nunchucks, give away the farm. He's going to keep his nukes. He's going to keep his rockets. He's going to keep the technology. And Donald Trump's going to get a pressing. So what's going on here? Absolutely, positively, I believe Donald Trump is only concerned about no collusion, no collusion, no collusion, selling out the economy and our enemies, and pissing our trade partners so he can show everyone how he's a great negotiator, art of the deal, get his peace prize, and get his factory workers saying, yeah, Don, you got me my steel job back. God, I really appreciate it, Don. Yeah, can I get my son in there? He wants to be in a steel mill, too. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's like we have this marvelous technology, this digitization of manufacturing. That's really what it's all about. Start with CAD CAM. By the way, I got the first CAD CAMs, and I've been using them there, and I'm 3D printers, and that's part of the hobby side of me. The Renaissance man. I'm telling you, the technology is fantastic, and it's moving ahead at breakneck speed. Who needs a damn assembly line? Get that shit. It's delivered over the internet. The factory tools it up. I'm telling you, you're going to run a factory over the internet. All these sensors and cables and connections, and oh my God, it's just unbelievable. Who needs people? Who wants them in there? We had a story on the breaking news about McDonald's. I mean, they're going to fire a hell of a lot of people. I saw a demonstration of some of the kiosks. They're introducing them in, I think it's 6,000 locations initially, another 6,000 later on this year. It works. The ordering is simple. Swipe the card, even just hold the card up against the screen. By the way, I'm sure they'll be able to take Bitcoin, although they didn't say that. And there's your order, and it's right, and the money's taken out, and you zoom out of the store. Could be nobody in there. I see a McDonald's store with, just like the manager there, just making sure all the computers are get batteries charged and running and humming along, and he's running the place on his iPad. Unbelievable. And listen to me, this technology. I've done a story for you. You got to hear me. You have the world's biggest taxi company doesn't own a taxi cab. The world's biggest internet retailer just has a few handfuls of stores and they're screwing them up. The biggest hotel management company doesn't own a hotel. The biggest airline reservation company doesn't have an airline. Pretty soon, the world's biggest smartphone, really, cell phone's not fair. The world's biggest smartphone manufacturer doesn't make a smartphone. Now, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Duh! There's got to be something to this. Do you understand this new model? And it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I was going to say the world's biggest dating app doesn't have a girlfriend, but that's getting a little nasty there, I don't go on dates. Well, okay. So we're moving into this realm quicker than anyone realizes. I mean, the world's biggest movie company doesn't have a movie theater. Think about it. Yeah. The world's biggest broadcaster of movies and TV doesn't have a TV station, doesn't have a transmitter, doesn't have a tower, doesn't have a studio. I mean, when you really think about it, it's all just basically farmed out, okay? Embrace this, please, my friends. Come down this road. Don't let someone like Donald Trump take you to the dark ages. He's going to destroy America. Well, he'll set us back. He's going to set it. You heard about the lost decade? We're ending up with the lost decade of Trump. We're going into a recession, as you know. We got to correct this crazy shit with the free money. We got to beat the excesses out of the market. Although they tell you no excesses, we got to get rid of all this retail space that they built, all these stores. We have too many locations. All built on money, right? It's all built on, funding by my little guys that fund all the real estate in the world of Ritz, right? Real estate investment trusts are going to wipe out. All fund on junk bond debt by retirees' savings that... Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, State Street, we didn't know how it happened, but we are really sorry. Anything we can do for you? Here's 50 cents on the dollar back. I hope it works. So, we're just going to change the world. But we're coming out of this thing. Listen to me. We're coming out of this thing with the digital revolution. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was talking about how he is involved in old folks care centers. And, the biggest limit in that thing is you have a lot of employees. And, he's looking at robotics and automating a lot of the care functions. I'll give you an example. One of the tragedies is that, unfortunately, you have not the highest level people in a lot of hospitals. So there's a real problem with that. That guy that failed the piss test. I mean, do you want a guy that failed the piss test for the drugs in the hospital pushing drug cards? One of the big secrets is that druggies are involved in that, and some of the pills fall off the carts. And that means that very expensive drugs will be stolen. The patient is supposed to have 3 pills. He gets 2 or 1, or 1 real one, 1 counterfeit. A lot of theft of these very expensive cancer chemo medications. And it's a real problem, okay? Then they have another problem with the people that sweep the floors and clean the bedpans. I mean, it's not hey, Mom, I got a job at the hospital, and I am the bedpan cleaner. I'm really doing good, Mom. I mean, life's not stressful. So you have very, very low-level people, and you can't convince them to wash their friggin' hands. Stop scratching your ass, okay? And the superbugs are proliferating in the hospitals, and a bigger problem than anybody realizes. Then you've got the gal that goes down the hall with the little cart. You've seen them. Takes the blood pressure and takes the temperature, okay? Why? And unfortunately, a couple years back, I was in a hospital, and I was shocked. At the shit technology. Now, I really understand. I mean, they had the oscilloscope basic thing, and the heart monitors and the video screens and all that. But I was shocked at the lack of integration and all that. Okay, they had a big deal that if they could enter the temperature, I thought, well, shit, you should have this thing on an internal network here, and Robbie the robot comes, the laser thermometer takes the temperature, boom, it's automatically put into the computer on your chart. The same thing with your blood pressure. I don't need people on that. And I can tell you that and I was there for an infection. It was a never-ending battle with those nasty, stinky people. Okay, see that alcohol bottle there? Go over there and put it on your hands. Oh, I just did. I didn't see you do it. It's my ass. Clean it. By the way, I'll tell you a story. They booted me out of the hospital a day or 2 earlier. I became pretty friendly with some fantastic doctors there, by the way. In fact, some of them were on this thing. It worked out that way. Anyway, he says, listen, I released you a little bit earlier. Here is your prescriptions, and the reason why is that we got a code red alert here, and we're having a superbug spreading through the hospital, okay? And that helped me educate it. And by the way, I had one of my Centurion friends, a marvelous English lady, 105 years old, and she, the old thing, she hurt her knee, was in the hospital, and we lost her to the superbug infection, picked up a hospital infection. So I'm telling you, Robbie the robot solves the problem. I can put him in a bath of sulfuric acid to make sure there's not a germ left on him. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you understand this bold new world is not going to steel production. It's not going to factories. We are not going to have factories in America, okay? They belong in shitholes with lots of poor people that you lift them up, okay? And that's just a reality. And away we go. By the way, I was in India where they have the ship graveyard, okay? And what happens is they take ships, big ones, and they scrap them. And what happens? They get off Sandy Beach, and they get this boat, they put it full speed ahead, and they chunk it onto the beach, okay? They beach it. And then 1 million ants come, and they cut this thing up in little pieces all by hand. It is unbelievable. Wow, 1 million ants. I mean, you ought to see it. Thousands of people, cutting torches, cutting the steel up, and piece by piece by piece comes apart. It was amazing watching that. Okay, you can't do that in a shipyard in America. You can't even afford to scrap a boat in America. It just doesn't pay. So what I'm telling you is that there's a world economic model that we need to grasp. And that world economic model is one of, Don't let your babies grow up to be coal miners and steel workers. Let them be coders and digitizers instead. And, you know, we're really got a president that's really at a critical time where augmented reality, where algorithms are replacing things. I have an associate, and he has call centers. Okay, you know, he did the thing with the call centers in India and all that stuff, and he does a lot of business with the banks. Okay, and part of the banking is that you got compliance issues and security issues, and his credit card comes. He's very, very good at what he does. And he is going to augmented reality where there, you know, like it was like, well, don't take that job to India and have that India person answer the phone. Well, no problem. What accent have you got? His algorithm in the computerized voice picks up your southern accent, and they have a southern accent. Pick up your New York accent, and they have a New York accent. And you're talking to a person that takes you down the road, answers all your questions, does the form and all this stuff. It's not a person. So, as a matter of fact, he's at the point of retiring, and he wants to finish his project. And I saw his technology and went, whoa, Mr. Will Robert. Oh, my God. What a sexy voice they had. You wouldn't believe it. It is all digitized. It's not a person. They understand what you're saying. They respond. It's interactive. They get the form filled out on, you know, you're there on the computer. Up pops the form you need to fill out here for your car loan. Here's your mortgage application. Welcome to the real world. And that's going to be a McDonald's. You're just going to go in there and, I mean, you know, it's like, you know, the truck comes and the robot unloads the patties and the buns and the computers take over. Guys, it's not 20 years away. It's not 10 years away. It's here today. Utilization is going to be 5 years. And we have to deal now with people displacing. So, yeah, you better damn right. If I was a high school dropout factory worker and who has no savings, deeply in debt, and leaves my factory job to go down to the pub and come home 10 o'clock at night wasted, I would be real worried too, okay? Well, you don't have to worry. We will understand this technology. We'll embrace it, invest in it, make it work. And right now the battle line is, you're not making coal great again. You're not putting the steel back into the economy. You're not manufacturing cell phones in America. You just aren't going to do it. And what you are going to do is you can design those cell phones. You're going to design Robbie the robot. You're going to design this incredible integration of digitization of everything. You can change the planet. But the donkey work's going to be done in India, in Vietnam, and China. And we're going to make the money. But I'm repeating this to you, and I'm going to say it again. There will be hell to pay between now and when that happens. And the transition will be ugly. There will be riots in the streets. There will be companies bankrupt. There will be a depression. And that is always the way, by the way, with changes in society, okay? Industrialization, you know, from the farm, then the assembly line, and, you know, of every age displaces people, and displaced people get really ugly. So anyway, my pleasure. Thank you. And embrace this new age. Understand this new technology. And stake your fortune, both in the market run down and then the market run up. You're going to have both.